Hi there, my name is Scott Arthur, and right now I'm the Transport and Environment Committee convener here in Edinburgh. And today I'm right at the start of the Roseburn Path, and I'm up at the track level here, and you can see trains, well, possibly in the video, I'm not sure, there's a lot of glare. You can see trains, but before the trains is actually the tram line, which takes the trams obviously from the airport into the city centre. And the reason there's that curve in the metal railing ahead is when the original tram was built, there was a plan to have a point, I guess you would call it, which would curve around here, and then the tram line would go down the Roseburn Path. And in fact, back in 2006, the Scottish Government gave the council permission to lay a line down that path all the way to Granton, and I think then at that time the plan was for it to go on beyond Granton to Newhaven and complete that loop. So a different time, and obviously a lot has changed since then, not least in Edinburgh's tram experience. We went from being a bit of a national laughingstock to actually people being quietly respectful about how we managed to complete the Tram to Newhaven line. There's just notwithstanding the snagging we still have. So why am I back here? So the reason I'm back here is on Friday, which is yesterday, the council published plans for its next phase of tram, and that is to return to this route, and to take a tram down here to Roseburn. Now a lot has changed, of course, since 2006, not least now that when we deliver a tram project, we expect there to be urban rail improvements along its length, and also it to come with really good active travel, so walking, wheeling and cycling along its length. He says as we pass over the CC Well scheme, which is going to open next month. So the problem with this route, the challenge is, I guess, rather than a problem, is that it's constrained on each side because it's a former railway line which this path has been constructed on. And what that means is the tram is going to take up quite a bit of space, and the feeling is that there's not enough room to construct the tram line, provide excellent walking and provide excellent cycling facilities. So the proposal is that we put a tram through here, and we keep the excellent walking route through here, a safe route for people, but in terms of cycling we create a new safe route and along an alternative route to this. So basically remove the cycling from here. So cycling wouldn't be removed completely. The report says it will be discouraged. And for me what that means is, we won't have people commuting along this route, but parents can still bring their kids down here to learn how to ride a bike, etc. Alongside that fantastic tram, of course. So I guess the easy question is, well, why not just keep walking and cycling here? Why not leave this as it is and put the tram somewhere else? So the alternative somewhere else, the somewhere else would be Orchard Brae, up past the Western General, past the front of it, and then into the city centre from there. But the challenge that would come with is that it'd be more expensive, it would be more disruptive, there'd be more carbon involved, and the modelling suggests, or the modelling just now suggests, that usage levels would be lower as well. So switching to that route would enable cycling to be retained on this route, but basically some of the benefits of running the tram to Granton would be eroded, and some of the costs would rise. So the judgment is that this is the better route, and I used that word judgment deliberately because think these days we're encouraged to think, in terms of reducing everything to binary outcomes, black, white, yes, no, or even leave, remain. But we know that life is actually much more complex than that, and decisions are seldom quite so easy. And often most of us understand the benefits of both approaches, and certainly that's where I am when we look at these different routes. But having looked at both of them, we're council officers. We came down here, I think in the autumn, to see just how it would work. And I think when you look at that and you listen to the arguments we make, just going under Ravels and Dykes here, the winds may be picking up a little bit, so apologies if it's out of harm's the microphone, sorry, I'm tired today. So it is a judgment, and the judgment was this was a better route, looking at all that evidence. I respect people that look at the evidence and perhaps come to, look at the evidence, in a meaningful way, and perhaps come to a different conclusion. But what I would say is, if you've yet to look at the evidence, trying to think about it as a city scale, what we're trying to achieve, rather than just through how you might see yourself using that fantastic future piece of infrastructure, or perhaps using this walking or cycling route. Always great to see people picking up after their dog. Yeah, so please look at the evidence. And so, yeah, absolute respect for people that look at it and think, well, actually, maybe it is worth, taking longer, spending more time, and having a route that's going to be much more easily. So I'll just stop, quieting down a little bit, there's a little bit more wind. So if people look at the options and say, well, actually, I think the benefits of this path outweigh the fact that the alternative route would be more expensive, take longer to deliver, be more disruptive to local residents, and also the finished tram maybe used less, and much more open to disruption from traffic, and of course. And we have to take all these things into account when we're trying to reach our decision. Thank you. You can see an old platform here. So for some of these bridge structures, perhaps not this one here, the tram will struggle to get under them, so some of them will need modification. Thank you. And it's maybe worth this one here. This is Queensferry Road. This one's particularly tricky because, as you can guess, it's not quite wide enough to get two tram lines through, but we're going under Queensferry Road. So the judgment just now is that it's not feasible to replace that bridge because of the time it would take and the disruption it would cause. So the tram line will probably go down to one line there. So I think we're coming up to Craigleith Retail Park now, I think. So if Google Maps was right, I checked this morning, I've probably cycled around 2 kilometres on this route now. And I used to always cycle down here on a Saturday morning when I used to do the park run at Cram before the Auditorium started up. So at this point I'd be veering off to the left here, sometimes a little bit hastily to try to get to Cram in time. So the original 2006 plan would have took the trams all the way down the remainder of the path. I think it's about another kilometre or so to basically Crewe Toll, then it would go into Granton. But the problem with that approach is it didn't give us a good connection to the Western General Hospital. So the proposal is that the tram will probably come off Roseburn Path around here somewhere, obviously giving us that good connection to, I'll just walk my bike down the road here, giving us that good connection to Craigreath Retail Park. And it will come onto here, which is Groat Hill Road. And then once we get to the top of Groat Hill Road, it's going to turn right onto Telford Road. Yeah, so not easy, getting back to that point. So I respect people who have reached a different position. What I'm wary though is, of course, people using the Roseburn Path as an excuse for doing nothing, or deliberately trying to force the tram down more expensive routes just to make it unviable. So I'm wary of that, but anybody that's looking at this in an open and constructive and transparent way, absolute respect, and I'm happy to discuss the issues with them. So in terms of that cycling provision for that 2 kilometre stretch, the alternative for that would have to be in place before work started. So not after the project, before it. And now there has been some people saying, well, can we not just squeeze pedestrians and cyclists together on that path? And I think, when people are looking at the Leith Walk part of the last scheme, I think maybe the last committee said yes to that squeeze question, but I think we need to learn the lessons from that and say actually we have to respect pedestrians, and in our confined route like that we need to avoid that interaction between pedestrians and cyclists for everyone's safety. So here we come down, so the tram would come down here without if we didn't take the Groat Hill route just now, it would still be on the Roseburn Path. So it would mean that people would have to move from the Roseburn Path, they would have to get off it at some point and get across, so through that housing estate on my left, and then across this road here, which you can see is relatively busy. Of course we can put crossings and things in, but I think it's really desirable to have an excellent connection to the Western General Hospital. And you can see up there, just to the left of that apartment block, that is probably where the original tram stop was planned for the Roseburn Path. So people would have to come down the side of that block, I think that's where it is, cross the road up there, come down, cross the road here, and then get across this road here. So you can understand the benefits of the aim is a good connection with the Western General. Coming off at Groat Hill and coming down here is just so much better. I have to say, cycling down this road here isn't the highlight of my day, but never mind. So crew toll up ahead. So thankfully I'll be turning left here. I don't have to interact with the roundabout anything more than that. So the tram coming down here is going to be so good. You know, and you think of all the people who work at Leonardo, I mean, a stop right here is going to be excellent for them. So the Roseburn Path, actually, the red bridge up ahead, as it's called, is the continuation of that. But the tram wouldn't have, of course, went across that bridge. It would come down just to the west side of it there. I can maybe get off my bike and I can show you where it would have came down. So you can see there that path there. So the original plan was for the tram to come off the Roseburn Path at that point, and you come down here and head into Granton. Let's see if I can negotiate this junction. There's actually a cycle lane, but I'm going to try and stay on the road just so you can visualise how the tram might look. In 2031 actually, so the plan is to get the Granton to city centre section open in 2031. Obviously there's a lot of work to get done between now and then. We've still got to get through the consultation, and you know, and if an alternative route was picked, that opening might be delayed slightly, and as I said earlier, more expensive, more carbon. So if you've not done so already, it's really worth having a look at what the council's doing in Granton. You know, 3,500 homes over the next 10 years or so. The heat for those homes is going to be drawn from quite a large sewer that runs through the area. They're going to have a heat pump that extracts the heat from the sewer, and that's going to heat those homes. Net zero community, you know, excellent public transport lines, both in terms of buses and obviously trams. So really different, and one car parking space for every 4 homes, because the idea is that people will be buying into that net zero community, and the kind of people who are attracted to it are maybe less keen on car ownership generally anyway. I've never cycled down here before. Usually go on the cycle path. Feels a bit weird. And you can see the gas holder up ahead, encapsulated in the white plastic. Of course, that encapsulation is designed to peel off at high wind, so the structure isn't overloaded, and it looks like it's done that job. It's looking a bit tattered today. Hopefully I won't get in trouble for saying that. Okay, so Granton College is just off on the left there. You can see the Morrisons as well. And then the Granton Station building, which has just been refurbished by the council. It looks excellent. And you can see some of that new housing going up behind it. That's just the start of the huge project here. And the Granton gas holder, it'll be at the centre of it all. You know, obviously a landmark, but also part of a park, and also a performance space, perhaps seeing, you know, festival and other acts coming down here. It's going to be, you know, really transformative. Quite exciting, actually. So Granton Station building just there. Looks excellent, actually. It's only when you get up close to the gas holder you really understand just how big it is. I mean, that must be 12 or 14 stories of scaffolding there, absolutely incredible. So I'll just cycle down to the other Granton, maybe I get my Granton stations mixed up. So again, normally I'd be on a cycle lane here, but I'm just sticking to the road just so you get a feel for it. It's starting to look really good down here, actually. So what happens when you're 55 and you have a chronic heart condition, you struggle to overtake joggers. Getting old's not easy. Okay, so I'll turn it around here and I'll stop and chat for a bit. Granton Square, I'm getting Granton Square and Granton Station mixed up. Sorry, I think my camera saved its file there, so I'll start again. So what do you think? Do you think we should bring the tram all the way down here at Granton Square? Or should we stop at Granton Station, that refurbished building we've seen just as we came in, to what I call Granton? I don't want to offend anybody if I've not quite got my lines on the map right. Or should we all take it all the way through to Newhaven, which isn't actually that far away from here, but the problem is completing by that part of the line is disproportionately expensive. And going back to what we was talking earlier, do you think that the extra costs, the extra carbon, the extra time needed and the lower passenger revenue we would get from putting the line down Orchard Brae, do you think that outweighs the benefits of keeping the cycling provision there? Or should we just focus on getting excellent cycling provision elsewhere and getting the tram and walking there the best we can? And another thing I would say is I think that if we were looking at that Roseburn path again, I think we would struggle with it if we were starting afresh to say that is the kind of cycling provision that's right for Edinburgh in 2024. And the reason I say that, it might sound quite controversial to you, but the reason I say that is that it was great today. It was a good feeling, all those people walking and a few people cycling along the path. Really positive. A little bit of sunshine makes a difference, of course. But would you use it at night time? And when it was dark, would you use it? And I say that as a grown man. But if what about if you're a woman or if you're a young person, would you feel safe using it at night time? So does Edinburgh want a cycle path that we can only use during the day, or do we want a cycle path that works 24/7 every single day of the year? I think as a city, over the last couple of years and over the last few years, the debate has moved on around particularly after the Sarah Everard, her kind of brutal murder. Let's face it. I think things have moved on, and I think there's higher expectations now around public safety, particularly in public places. Okay, hopefully that's not too controversial or negative ending to the video, but just want to stress it is a consultation, and people can bring their views forward. We'll listen to them and take it forward. But I should also stress, of course, it's a consultation, it's not a referendum, and so we'll take into account those consultation responses, along with stuff like how much this is going to cost, how do we deliver it, how do we minimise disruption to local residents, because I think we've seen the impact that some of these schemes can have on local residents, so it's really important we get that part right as well. Okay, this video has been far too long, but if you've got any comments, please leave them below, and I'll try and answer them. Okay, bye for now.